For the month of September, it is our goal to feed 500 families. With every vehicle sold, we will feed a family of 4. So please help us reach our goal. Visit us online at northgategm.com.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off a $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
While the players gear up for the new season, make sure you gear up your snack game with Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Okay, this jumbo bag of beef jerky should last the preseason.
Whoa. Will Hawk has more than just beef jerky. There's smoked sausage and pepperoni products, too.
Well, how about we have jerky for Eastern opponents and pepperoni sticks when we face the Western teams?
Now that sounds like a Will Hockey game plan.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
At Wendy's, $4 gets you more than just a burger. It gets you a Dave's Single, made with a quarter pound of fresh, never frozen Canadian beef. All for just $4 at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra. But hurry, this deal ends October 26th.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Jays win the division. MLB playoffs just around the corner. Elks win a huge game. Oilers looking good against the almost Canucks in preseason. And the NFL is wild all day and all night on Sunday. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues on the entire lineup of 2025 Sierra trucks. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we are live on YouTube and Sports 1440 online. We're at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, we have Apple and Spotify podcast, and we also tweeted out on X. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04, and at Sam W. 1440. Our guest today, well, she's back. Rachel Krychak, CTO of Betalytics and ESPN contributor. She got married in the summer, so Rachel Dory's no Rachel Krychak. And we'll talk to her at 1240. Jason Gregor, still Jason Gregor. He'll be on at 1:20 today, and we'll have declinations. I'm thinking NFL, CFL, college football, but maybe some MMA as well. All right, it's time for the introductions. He's a young man making his way in the big city. Apparently a cruel hairstylist did him dirty this weekend, but we love him anyway. It's Sam Wilness, everybody. Sam Wilness.
Hello. How are we doing today?
Sam, your hair's fine. It's just that you do know that you can tell him to stop cutting stuff off, or her to, maybe style it as opposed to just cut it all off, right?
I do know that. However, I did go to one just aptly named The Barber Shop.
Okay. All right. And the good thing is that you can walk right into 1975 now, and nobody would say boo.
Yeah.
Do you like the hair?
It's softer than it's ever been, so that's an upside. Few things I would change about it, but otherwise a pretty solid haircut.
Well, the good thing is when you get cut shorter during the warm weather, which is now gone, you don't feel it as much. It can get kind of hot and heavy if it gets I think it's 25 tomorrow. You might have a hard time if you had your old hair. All right. He's a fun-loving guy until the Duffer Brothers start doing strange things. And now I'm afraid of what will happen when Upside Down merges with the real world. I have no idea what I'm reading. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody. Did I get that close to right, Fenwick?
Yeah, that sounds pretty right. Where did you learn that? Did you read it? Did
typed
Karen
in,
watch Stranger Things?
This is what I did.
Let me explain it to you.
I typed in stupid Duffer Brothers seeing things. Nothing came up. And then I changed it to strange things. And that's what came up.
Ah, very good.
This is season 5 and Upside Down merges with the real world. Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I think it's always been merging with the real world. I don't know.
I mean, I've just spoiled it for you. I love it.
It's possible.
Love it. All right. I don't know if he'll talk more about CFL football, NFL football, or college football, but I do know he watched a lot of football this weekend and is bursting to tell us everything all at once. It's Mr. Exuberant if it's a strange oblong ball. Declan Krueger, everybody. Declan Krueger.
It's the best. I couldn't imagine not watching as much football as possible with my free time. Every time I'm watching football, I'm just like, man, I'm so happy to be watching football. And whenever I'm not watching football, I'm thinking about when the next football game is going to be on.
Did you ever think about getting a podcast going, get maybe Eddie Steele? He's a smart guy.
Yeah, Eddie would be a great co-host. What do you think we could talk about?
Well, I think probably Elks and Elks Nation, the fan base,
CFL, and
I mean,
maybe we could segment it: headlines around the league, Rick's rant, Steele's reels, look ahead to the next game, hot seat of the week, betting lines in the CFL, and a blind ranking.
Yeah, well, I mean,
do you think that'd be good?
Sure, but think about it. I mean, you don't want to commit to anything right away. Are we all good? We all had a nice weekend.
I had a great weekend personally.
Yeah.
You can't have a bad weekend when all you do is watch football for a combined 26 hours.
Did you call your girlfriend or your mom, or did you just?
She said something about taking the dog.
Right.
That was about it.
Right.
Don't come back here.
Oh, how was the game with your dad?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was so much fun. We were sitting in section W, which with a lot of Rider faithful, because we were obviously on the east side there, Rider bench. The Riders travel incredibly well.
They do.
Fans
the
travel
fans are
well.
The best fans on the league.
And it was so much fun.
With the exception of the Elks fans.
Of course. Great catch there. It was so much fun. And listen, my dad, he obviously grew up a Rider fan, but he's not nearly at the level of sports I am. So he kind of said to me, he's like, I didn't think I'd
normal.
Yeah. So he kind of said, I didn't think I'd get back into it as quickly as I did, but I have, and this is a lot of fun. So it was a great time. Yeah.
Father-son activities are really, really important. You need to always keep that connection.
Absolutely. Of course.
Needs to be able to look in your eye and have you tell him absolutely the truth.
Well, and as you know, my brother, he's 6, so I'm really trying to get him into sports as well, so he can carry on that tradition.
So, are you a evangelist for football?
As in, I've had a personal relationship with.
Well, you're bringing the flock to football.
I would like to think so. Listen, football, I couldn't imagine not watching football all the time. I'll leave it at that. I think I've said that.
What if there was a football strike in everything?
I thought about the players just went on strike. And
NFL, CFL, college, nobody's playing.
We had to go replacement style.
Right.
I would get out to high school games, or I would just play. I'd put my hand up and say, "Hey, if you guys need somebody, I'm right here."
We got to go. There's lots going on, but because you're the last person I'm introducing, I just really want to talk about. I'm a little disappointed that the Elks didn't win one of those recent games that they lost. But man, you've got to give them credit. They look like if the season started today, they make the playoffs.
Listen, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more as the show goes on. But they left 2 on the table there that it's probably going to be the reason they don't make the playoffs.
Right. Right. It's a damn shame. It really is. All right. A few things to get to. I want to start Again, with the Elks, I want to start with the Oilers Canucks. You can overdo these preseason games. The Canucks didn't send a very good team. Rick Tocchet used to send his best players. He'd come to Edmonton, and they'd play like it was the Stanley Cup final. And I love that because in preseason, if you're not prepared, they'll bash your brains in. The Canucks yesterday, they sent Thatcher Demko, who's a great goaltender, and a lot of guys who are not going to play much for the Vancouver Canucks and certainly not in a significant role. Having said that, the top line looked very good to me. McDavid, Draisaitl, Trent Frederick, they had a bunch of points. The problem is the second line, Nuge, Ike Howard, Mangiapane, they had some chances, but they didn't cash. And this is the problem when you put Draisaitl and McDavid on the top line. Your second line isn't going to score enough. They don't have anybody to push the river. They don't have drivers. And I'm telling you now, that roster last night, the Vancouver Canucks put out there, it was ripe for the picking. There should have been goals galore. And Howard had a couple of great high danger chances, but he's a rookie. It's a big ask of him. And I'm saying it now. That top line of McDavid, Draisaitl is going to be trouble for the Edmonton Oilers, not because they can't score. They can score like lickety-split. The rest of the roster is going to be challenged to score goals at 5-on-5. And so you're asking lines 2, 3, and 4. Adam Henrique, by the way, 35 years old and coming off a poor season, not looking great this preseason. He's going to be the third line center. You're asking those guys to suppress the other team to the point that they outscore. It's a tough ask. And there's a solution right on the top line. Just put Leon on the second line. And this gets to who's running the show. Does Chris Knobloch want this even at the cost of wins and losses? Because if the Edmonton Oilers win a game 4-3 with the roster Vancouver sent over and all of the goals are being scored by the top line, somebody has to call a meeting and say, hey, guys, I know we want to do it this way, but when do we start, going, hey, that was preseason game 6, not looking good. Second, third, fourth lines, not scoring. I love the defense. I thought Skinner was fine. His 5-on-5 save percentage was 92%. That's fine. They gave up a power play goal. That's, it's going to happen. Not too worried about the goaltending, although I did write today an article in The Athletic asking if the Oilers were close to a trade. And I know a lot of people want to see a goaltender. Here's what you have to find. You have to find a $2.6 million or less goaltender who is better than Stuart Skinner. And now you're going to say, well, get the guy from Calgary. They're not trading him. Flames are not trading him, and certainly not to the Oilers. The Oilers do have a problem, and it's the way they're lining up every night at forward. I like their defense. I think if Stuart Skinner struggles, put Calvin Pickard in. I have no quarrel with that. But wait until you see a goaltender who's clearly superior before you make your move. And I think that's what Stan Bowman's going to do. Toronto Blue Jays won in fine fashion. Alejandro Kirk, big time game, one of the biggest ever in a big final game of the year. They are through. I'm looking at all of the teams who are in the postseason, and I'm loving every minute of it. Your Cincinnati Reds are in.
Yes, they are. They had a 29% chance with 4 games left in the season. End up getting in as the 6th seed. Yeah. And playoff baseball, once you're there, anything can happen.
Especially this year.
in the wild card. Yeah.
Wide open. I do believe the World Series will be Seattle Mariners and Los Angeles Dodgers.
Really?
Going to be a left coast series, and I think the Seattle Mariners win the World Series.
Mariners over the Jays, hey?
Mariners over the Jays.
Wow. No faith in the bullpen, or what is it?
No, I just think I believe the Mariners have always had really good pitching. Right now they've got the bats, and they're this is the big numbers year.
Yeah,
and really I think they win the World Series.
Do you think it'll be Mariners and Jays in the ALCS though?
Don't know. I didn't think that through. I've only got so many hours a day. Got to stare at a wall for 16 of them.
So since you picked the Dodgers in the World Series, that obviously means you think they're going to be my Cincinnati Reds.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean,
you're not wrong, but I still don't like to hear it. Listen, the Reds their game plan for this year was win 83 and let another team flame out. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, and that's actually good business when you're playing in the same division or same league as the New York Mets, because they're notorious for doing this kind of ridiculous thing.
When was it in the season when they were 45-24?
Well, it would have been 69 games in.
Right. I'm not great with the baseball schedule.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just seems
it would have
like
been
it's
just
always
past the 1/3 mark. I was being an ass.
No, that was fine. It
Okay.
was I meant like when month wise because I know.
Oh, okay. Well, it would have been. They start in March, April, May, maybe early June.
Okay.
But I would say.
Okay.
Could be wrong. Might be mid-June. It's preseason. Everybody panic, said Picasso. Picasso, did you see the lineup last night? And they had chances. The kid had 2 really good chances. And Nuge was passing well. Got a cash. I'm not saying this team can't score. I'm saying this team can't score lines 2, 3, and 4 when Draisaitl and McDavid are on the same line. And I am saying that when the evidence is shown to you, you have to adjust. We'll see if the Oilers do it.
Yeah, it's like that top line combines for 9 points there. Then that second line only has the 1 assist. That was obviously Nuge's assist there. And you look at
on
this,
the power play.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, exactly. And then you look at this roster or this lineup that Vancouver sent out, and you're thinking like, boy, if there's ever a showcase spot for what this second line is going to look like and how they can play together, it's going to be against the lineup or the roster that Vancouver sent out. And they didn't do it.
And they also, they're pretzeling the roster. They got Savoy playing a checking line role. This is just silly. And I'm going to talk to Rachel Krychak about this coming up at 12:40 because I'm not going to preload the question. I'm just going to say, what do you think of McDavid, Draisaitl together? And what do you think about the rest of the lines if they're on the top line? And she's an analytics person. She's going to tell me, and I know 100% what she's going to tell me. And the Oilers are saying, yeah, we know that, but don't worry. We got this. I'm not buying it.
Did you see the image of, I forget which Canucks player, but he had it in by the circle, obviously in the offensive zone, and Stuart Skinner was completely turned around? That was pretty funny.
Was that a Lettermacki goal?
I don't know what the play led to. I don't remember it in reference to the game. I just remember seeing the still image. I would have to find it out.
Well, people like hammering Stuart Skinner on the nightly is becoming a fast rising sport online among Edmontonians, and that's fine. You know, Joffrey Lupul had to endure that. Sometimes the local guys get more heat because they're local guys. And I think that's the case with regard to Skinner. But I believe going into this year, everybody's in agreement. If he struggles, you play Pickard. You're trying to get a replacement. But let's give him a chance. Maybe he's going to have a good year this year. If you're saying to me that goalies always go in one direction and there's never a regression to the good or regression to the bad, I'm going to disagree with you. My life watching goaltenders suggests that it is actually untrue and that very few goalies can consistently perform at a high level year after year after year. And that's why they're paid a gigantic amount of money and they often end up in the Hall of Fame. I have made it a goal in my life to take breaks on time this week. Did you hear me?
You always take breaks on time. Honestly, you always do very well with it. And we're
really off.
We might even be a little bit early. The show started a touch late. We came in at
What
like
is this
12:01.
show starting a touch late lately? Who do I talk to about that?
You know,
manager. Can I speak to the manager?
Listen, I hate to say they're not my fault, but
they're starting to squeeze me, man.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it's going to be, no, your show always started at 12:15, old man. You know, they're doing it.
It always ended at 1:45.
Right, son of a,
Yeah.
you know. No, Declan's had that show for years. You knew noon to 1, then it's Declan. It's all coming together.
Boy, we can hope, right?
Your concern for me is overwhelming, young Declan. Okay, on the way, we have rumors, and then it's Rachel coming up, Rachel Krychak coming up at 12:40, 1 o'clock today. I think we should talk about the NFL. I know you have. What are you going to do on declinations?
Well, Mama MMA, so I will talk a little bit about the Oldberg Rays fight from this past weekend in Perth, and then look a little bit ahead to UFC 320. I always like to.
Could we do an NFL, CFL, college football segment at 1 o'clock?
Man, it's you don't ever have to ask me what we can do.
Please,
it's your
please,
show.
Declan,
We can
please.
do whatever you want.
Okay, well, I'll talk him into it. And then we got Gregor coming up at 1:20. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter goes for a fall stroll.
Ah, the beauty of fall. These leaves are crunchier than that calcified shower head I replaced this morning. And the earthy yellow oranges and browns are as colorful as the wad of hair I pulled out of the shower drain.
Ugh, Mr. Rooter, can we talk about something else?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't like fall. You look about as sour as the sewer line I unclogged yesterday.
For a plumber you'll truly fall for, call Mr. Rooter.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Find incredible savings on everything you need for your home at The Brick. Save up to $800 on sofas and up to $1,000 off select major appliances when you buy 2 or more. Whether you're furnishing a new space or refreshing your current one, The Brick has designs to fit any style and budget, all backed by their exceptional service. Visit one of their 4 locations in Edmonton, downtown, South Common, West Edmonton Mall, or 137th on the north side. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com and call today to get started.
I'm a little hungry.
I've got Booster Balls from Booster Juice.
Booster what now?
Booster Balls. They're little protein bites packed with nutrients. Chewy, crunchy, yummy, and new flavors all the time. Like this little guy, the new mint chocolate Booster Ball, peppermint cocoa, coconut, peanut butter, maple syrup, all rolled up into a delightful little bite-sized snack.
Why am I just hearing about this now?
I don't know.
Can I have one?
No.
Booster Juice. Canadian born. Blending since 1999.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues on the entire lineup of 2025 Sierra trucks. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. Kind of a cooler day today. It's going to warm up later on in the week. We're definitely in fall. The colors are gorgeous. If you haven't gone for a walk lately, Declan, like 2 weeks ago, it looked nice. Right now, it is gorgeous fall. The leaves are turning. It's going to snow at some point. But right now, man, you could go for a 5K and just take in nature at its most beautiful.
Right now, it's the most fall-esque, I think, when you factor in just everything, like temperature, leaves. But a few weeks ago, like middle of September, even maybe less than 2 weeks ago, September 20th, that's when I think it was like at its prettiest because the leaves were still on the trees. They were great colors, but it is beautiful.
You walk anywhere in a river valley around the Edmonton area, and you're going to be reminded of those Harlequin movies that Declan loves so much, where the lady comes home from the big city, she meets the man who was mean to her in high school, and then they end up falling in love. They get married in a barn.
I started to go for a run by the Wedgwood Ravine the other day, and then I just randomly got nervous about cougars being in the Wedgwood Ravine, or just in Edmonton naturally.
You mean real cougars?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went, so I actually backed out of it funnily enough, I just got like a weird sense of gut feeling. Obviously, I'm sure there were 0 cougars down there, but I did go back and look it up, and it looks like in the past 10 years, there have been, I think, 3 cougar sightings in Edmonton. One at Terwilliger Dog Park, one on Groat Road, and then one actually that was in a residential neighborhood, 152nd and 107th. So I was like, hey, maybe I was onto something here.
Yeah. And, just so everybody knows, those of us in radio, we are not workers. We are not hunters. We're not gatherers. We're not fighters. Nobody has a callus on their hand. So when he says, I ran home because I was afraid of a cougar, although I didn't see one, everybody in media goes, yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I didn't go home. I just adjusted my route. Obviously, I wasn't going to not run, but I did. And the crazy thing is, I'd ran that exact trail I was planning to run.
Your backyard.
I had ran that exact trail I was planning to run out and back the day before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's thoughts go through a person's brain, and sometimes you try to, put it out of your mind. But if it's a cougar, then
3 sightings in the last 10 years. That's enough for me to.
Sure. I mean, that's like recently. Time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Okay, lots of hockey stuff going on. I have not seen waivers yet. But I'll get that before the end of this segment. The Jets, Dylan Sandberg is out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. That is really sucky. If you're a Winnipeg Jets fan, really, really good player. Also, this is Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts. He says, I think this is going to be one of the more interesting weeks on the waiver wire to see which goalies get there and when. There's at least 2 goalies. Do they get traded beforehand? Michael DiPietro and Clay Stevenson. We've talked ad nauseum about Michael DiPietro. If you tuned in, you might think he's a member of the cast of this show. And it's an all-star cast, so maybe. But Clay Stevenson, lesser known, he played in Hershey, Washington Capitals minor league team last year. At an .888 save percentage, but a .294 goals against, tells you that they're pretty sly defensively there in Hershey, the Hershey Bears. In the major leagues of baseball, the San Francisco Giants have fired Bob Melvin. He's terrible. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who are terrible no matter who manages them, have extended Don Kelly, their current manager. Major Leagues of Baseball takes a day off. Everybody mumbles and grumbles. They played 162 straight games over the entire summer from late Feb to now. And if you come across a baseball fan today, they'll say something like, yeah, but there's no games right now. Gotta wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow, all day. If you know a baseball fan, like you'll be going, well, it's 10 o'clock. Maybe I'll call my baseball fan friend. And I go, yes, what is it? What do you want? What? Because it's baseball all day tomorrow. Going to be wild. Do you want? Maybe we'll do that tomorrow with Donovan. We'll go through all the teams.
No work tomorrow. Truth and Reconciliation Day, so we are off tomorrow. Already talked to Donovan. He's going to come in Wednesday instead.
What?
Yeah, no work tomorrow. That's why today's kind of a write-off day a little bit.
It does. How many days off do we have to take?
I know. Listen, no one hates it more than me. But we do have tomorrow off.
This is how do companies make money with all this time off? First there was Christmas and they threw Boxing Day after it.
Well, cutting your salary helped. That was big for us.
Well, did somebody want to tell me about that?
No, we were sorry guys, blew it. But yeah, no, listen, I think it'll be great to come back on Wednesday and have a chance to recap.
It's a very good reason to take a day off. I'm teasing. All day baseball. Thank you, Jesus. All right. We should probably talk about football a little bit here. We're going to do an entire segment of one.
Can I just get something in really quick before we move away from baseball
He's
talk?
always hogging the time.
I'm sorry.
All right. Josh Fenwick has something
the Dodgers
to say.
are starting in the wild card.
Is it Shohei?
No, yeah. I thought it was unannounced. I thought it was Hunter Green versus undecided.
Well,
they're not starting Shohei this game. Their rotation, their 3 starters are Snell, Yamamoto, and Shohei.
Okay, but here's what they're going to do. They're going to have one of their really good pitchers backing up Shohei. He's not going to go 5, is he really? I don't like this for the Dodgers. I don't like. I think it's too much.
Isn't he still technically not supposed to be pitching?
Yeah, but what do you tell Shohei Ohtani? Yes, okay, good idea, Shohei. It's like, have you tried telling Gregor not to do something?
I have not.
Why would I ever do that?
Have you ever said, Jason, I don't think that's a good idea for you?
No.
Well,
why would I ever say that?
Try doing that with Shohei.
I was just
Shohei runs the Shohei.
Yeah, because listen, as soon as you tell Shohei he can't do something, all of a sudden you're betting against him.
But also,
and we know he thrives on that.
And also he's like,
I've been betting.
They've signed him to $17 million a year for the next 300 years. They are together. There is one. They're married, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way it's going to be. I watched a lot of football yesterday. Not what you did. Well, you should be ashamed.
I actually didn't watch as much yesterday as I probably would have.
But I love the Eagles. I love the Philadelphia Eagles because they're going to go through the whole year almost losing.
Yes.
It's like in crazy time.
It was like 0 for 8 in the second half passing,
Yeah.
I think. How about, what do you think of their fake tush push?
Yeah, well.
that was awesome.
Yeah,
like that
it was.
play, you knew at some point they were probably going to implement that into their game plan.
Which is great.
It does seem funny to me that they did it in a week 4 game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, you didn't want to maybe hold that one in for like a divisional game or hold that one on to the playoffs. Like, because now it's pretty easy to have like someone contain not easy on a tush push, but to have someone just sitting there in the D gap. Because generally, like, there wasn't really a blocker there. It was just everyone collapsing and Saquon getting the outside.
No. And then I watched a great game, Green Bay, last night against Dallas. You know what?
Scoregami.
Is there a way I can just isolate on Jerry Jones? Like, I would just want to watch the Cowboys.
They show him pretty frequently. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do show him.
I just think this is what I want to know what the verbal is, because I think what it is, there's a guy next to him, sitting next to him, and I think it's like, Larry, you're fired. You're just junk. And then they score a touchdown. Larry, you're back on the team. I love you.
Yeah, there's got to be an element of like the Cowboys staff right beneath Jerry. Each week they hire someone just so Jerry can fire him during the game. It's like, hey, we'll give you a day's worth of wages, but you got to come up here and get yelled at by Jerry when they go down in the fourth quarter. Hey, we might win the game, but Micah might play bad, but he's going to fire you. So you just got to be the fall guy.
I've reached a point in my life where that is more entertaining to me than the football
Having
game.
the camera thrown on to Jerry Jones.
Watching Jerry get outraged at some poor guy who's wearing a suit and is employed by the team.
Hey, I got something Jerry will be mad about regarding that game. You want to know a fun stat about that one?
Oh, man.
Teams with 40 plus points and no turnovers were 300-0 at home, including the playoffs in the Super Bowl era. They are now 300-0-1. So the Cowboys couldn't even do that right. 40 points, no turnovers at home, and they still found a way to not win the game. Now, them coming out with a tie feels a little bit more like they won the game, but still.
No.
Them coming out with a tie after trading away their star defensive player, I feel is almost just like a participation medal at that point.
Well, and the problem is the division is tough for them. Like, do they have hopes for the playoffs though, right?
I don't know. I don't think that defense is good enough to get this team into the playoffs.
And the offenses were running up and down the field like it was a track meet in the second half.
Dak's a good quarterback, man. Like, for as much bleep as Dak takes, Dak's a good quarterback, and he can sling that ball and he can move that ball.
That was a great catch at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, and the problem is also with that offense though is no CD for the next little while. It's not going to be season long or anything. I think it's only going to be a few more weeks, if that. But it just seems like every game Dak is probably going to have to bail them out in some capacity, and that's not really conducive for a team. That
And he won't be able to do it
playoffs.
enough for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. On Saturday morning, I watched the rugby between Canada and England, and you when you watch any kind of football, and rugby is football, when you lose that much off the line, the Canadians played, I thought, really hard, but the English team, they were so strong off the line. It's like they had another player in there, and they were just bullying them off the line. And I had to go do some things. I didn't watch the entire game, but I love the effort. I love how far they got, but I think they lost to the better team. Did you catch any of it?
I didn't. I wish I had. I really.
Well,
wish
you would
I
have liked
had.
it because you like football, and it was really that kind of physical game.
I really wish I had. I'm obviously upset that I didn't. I feel like kind of a fraud, or like I haven't been doing my job.
Well, you didn't watch all the football, then that's probably good.
Well, different sport? Question mark. Do I get a little bit of a pass for that? I would have liked to have seen it. I feel bad I didn't. I saw the result.
I don't think anybody has to apologize for missing any sports this weekend because there was so much. You had to miss some.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, the result. Apparently, like I'm not going to sit here and pretend I am some expert on women's rugby. I am the furthest thing from. But I have to imagine, despite Canada being the second ranked team in the world, I don't know where England was, so maybe I'm talking out of my wazoo here. I have to think the result was to a degree expected.
I probably,
right,
but I always wonder.
Awesome to be there.
Where did
to be there.
Where did the English team get the good food?
I think overall, I think because we were watching this a little bit on Saturday during the Saturday sports setup. I think England was third.
Okay, so
well,
they were
that's
actually
very
ranked lower
close.
than Canada. Hey?
Yeah.
I thought New Zealand was ranked third. Maybe, I mean, you know what? I'm going to look up the women's world rugby rankings right now.
People are making Cougar jokes because of you. I'm having to read Cougar jokes because of you.
Yeah. No, we knew those were going to come in, though. We knew those were going to come in.
Yeah, but Tide, you didn't exactly help the situation when you said the cat, right?
Yeah, well, okay, but I was being ironic.
So England was number.
We both know the text.
Why does he
line.
have a microphone?
No, I know. We got to shut that off. Just kidding.
Got to snip that thing.
We both know the text line doesn't understand what irony is. They're just taking it and running with it.
So heading into the final, the English women's team was number 1. Canada was number 2. And the gap between England and Canada was about 6 points. The gap between Canada and New Zealand, who was number 3, was about 4 points. Funny enough, the gap between Canada and France, who was number 4, was actually about 5 points. So England was the number 1 team by, it seems like, a fair little margin.
Yeah. On the text line, they're asking me my thoughts on the Ryder Cup. Look, when you get that far behind, even a ferocious comeback isn't going to be enough, right? And we are there. But I admit I was cheering for Europe, and that's a fact. Not that I don't love the American golfers; they're fantastic, but I feel like the Europeans are the underdogs, and I always cheer for the underdogs. It's why I had California Golden Seals hockey cards.
I got a fun little piece of trivia for you. If you had to guess, who would you say the lowest ranked women's rugby team and men's rugby team in the world are?
Is it the same nation?
No, 2 different nations.
Okay, I will say Wales and the Netherlands.
No, fine guesses. Wales are actually ranked 12th in both men's and women's.
Okay.
The lowest ranked women's nation is the Bahamas, and the lowest ranked men's nation, I found this kind of surprising, American Samoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Greece, the 3rd last men's nation. It's kind of funny.
Well, yeah. Okay. On the way, we're going to talk to. This is going to be such a great conversation because she got married over the summer, so I get to congratulate her on that live on the radio. Rachel Krychek, nee Dory. We're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. She's the CTO of Betalytics and ESPN contributor, and it's all straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring the UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at TAP 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the Center Bar. Plus, catch this fall's biggest games. Every goal, every tackle, every home run. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Stop juggling lowest bid contractors, because at Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, one call does it all. From concrete supply to cribbing and pumping, we've got your project covered. Locally owned and operated, Wetaskiwin Ready Mix is proud to deliver on spec and on time every time, because we know quality concrete isn't cheap, and cheap concrete isn't quality. Send Wetaskiwin Ready Mix your blueprint. We'll handle the rest. Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, 780-352-4301.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
On Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. They have employee pricing continuing. All right. 1239. Joined now by Rachel Krychak, CTO of Betalytics and ESPN contributor. At Rachel Dory is her handle. She got married over the summer. Rachel, congratulations.
Thank you. I guess I should probably change my Twitter handle, shouldn't I?
That's okay. Now tell us about the guy. Is he a good fella? Does he wash behind the ears? And have you introduced him to mom?
Yeah, he's a good fella. We met when I worked for the New Jersey Devils. He used to be the head ice tech there. So it all kind of stays in hockey, comes full circle. And yeah, he's got mom's approval. He's somehow got my grandparents' approval.
Excellent.
So, I mean, things are looking really up for him.
Okay. Now he's a sports fan. Who does he cheer for?
That poor soul. He is a Giants fan, a Rangers fan, but he is a Yankees fan. So we've got quite the sports rivalry in our house.
Yeah, that's good because I think the Yankees will beat the Bo Sox, so they'll play the Jays by the weekend. That'll be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that'll be not stressful at all on our marriage.
All right, let's talk a little hockey. Oilers coach Chris Knobloch has stated and is running Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl at 5-on-5 on the same line. Says he'll do it until Zach Hyman returns. In your opinion, is this deployment defensible?
Defensible, yeah. Good idea long term? Absolutely not. I think that when you say he is deploying, like when you say as a coach, I'm deploying my two best players at the same time, that means one of two things. It means you're confident that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can drive his own line for however long is necessary. And it also means that you're playing those two for 26 minutes a night, which, I mean, if you plan to go to the Stanley Cup final, you don't want to be using your players 26 minutes a night in October. So I think that in theory, yes, it's defensible for the short term. It is not at all a good idea for the long term if they have aspirations to make the Cup final and have those players perform, because we know barring injury, both of them will be at the Olympics.
Very true. I want to just check down a little bit, and one more McDavid question. I want to know what you make of his contract situation, and people want to know, so I'm going to ask you, could this be his last year in Edmonton?
Oh, well, it could. Yeah, he doesn't have a contract extension. So, I mean, the obvious and I guess most truthful answer is yes, it absolutely could be his last season in Edmonton. Do I think it's likely it's his last season in Edmonton? No, I could absolutely see a scenario that he signs a 3 or 4 year deal. I think I'd be somewhat surprised to see him go long term, given sort of the fact that he's going to want assurances that they're going to be able to compete far into the future. And we'll see what happens. But I don't think anyone should be surprised that this is going in the direction that it's going. But I also don't think people need to panic. Connor McDavid throughout his whole career has been very loyal. He took less on this specific contract in the hopes that management would use the money wisely. They didn't, to say the very least. And I think he kind of wants some assurances that if he's going to take less again, that it is going to be used in a better manner. And so I wouldn't fret is what I would say, but I would say it's probably 80-20 that he's an Oiler in 2026.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think I agree totally with what you said. Now, let me dovetail from that and ask a third question that I didn't think I was going to ask. Because I think that if Connor McDavid is worried about the roster, then the Nugent-Hopkins second line being able to outscore is important. And it does point to the fact, Adam Henrique is 35 and they're going to ask him to play third line center coming off a poor year. Or not a great year. Nugent Hopkins, his goal scoring has eroded, pretty abruptly here in the last while, to the point where they're likely to pull him off the top line and have him play center and replace him on the McDavid line. So my question is, when we look at this roster and understand that McDavid has some questions about it, when the Oilers, and I know it's preseason, but when the Oilers play a shallow Vancouver Canucks team last night, and the second line doesn't score anything, although they had a couple of chances, it tells me that there's already concern. And when we're talking about the coach getting a goaltender, as we will in a minute ago, maybe they need some help up front too. They need a lot of help for a team that's at the cap and getting old.
I completely agree with you. I think the loss of Dylan Holloway and Ryan McLeod, not fantastic to say the very least. I really like the addition of Isaac Howard, though. I think Oilers fans are going to be surprised pleasantly by him. He is somebody who reads the play very well, and he can put the puck in the net. And it has been a struggle, like you said, for anybody not named Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and with the exception of 1 year, Zach Hyman, to put the puck in the net. So having a very young player on a very affordable contract who could potentially score 30 goals is good if you're the Oilers. And so I think when you look at it, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He does not have that scoring ability that he once had. He's still an exceptional two-way player. And so having somebody who is very good on your second line that can still drive play, doesn't necessarily score as much. If you surround him with guys who can score, I think can work in the short term. In the long term, you'd obviously prefer to have Draisaitl there. You either move Nugent-Hopkins up or you keep him with Draisaitl. I don't think it really matters at that point, but just as long as Nugent-Hopkins continues to drive play, I think it will be fine. But Edmonton, they have to hit on some of the prospects that they have. Like if the organization is spending money on anything right now, they ought to be spending every dollar they can on development, research, bringing in the best development consultants that you can find, because like you said, they're aging. They haven't had a lot of successful draft picks. And I mean, outside of McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins, and you don't get credit for top 3 picks. Like I think that there needs to be some serious evaluation of how are we going to get the prospects that we do have in the lineup and contributing in an impactful way.
Rachel Krychak, our guest, CTO of Betalytics and ESPN contributor. Many Oilers fans are concerned about the team as they enter this season with the same goalie tandem as a year ago. The options aren't really, there's not a lot of them that are great, but at some point, doesn't Stan Bowman have to do something to change the goalie depth chart?
I think Stan Bowman deserves some credit for what he didn't do with the goaltending, or hasn't done and doesn't seem to be doing. And that is, there was a lot of people in hockey media and on the cesspool that is now called X, that said the Oilers should sign Carter Hart. Carter Hart has not set aside the media circus and everything that would go with that. Carter Hart has not played a game in 2 years. What the Edmonton Oilers certainly don't need is a goaltender who's an unknown because he hasn't played in 2 years. Stuart Skinner is known to the Oilers, and yes, he has his ups and he has his downs. But at a minimum, you know he can give you a big game performance. I think they need to kind of look at upgrades. One kind of scenario I would probably keep an eye on, I think Connor Ingram would have been a fit. I was kind of surprised they didn't claim him off waivers, although they really seem to like Calvin Pickard. To me, the biggest wild card here is if Nashville looks like they're going to rebuild, I think you are doing a disservice by not calling about UC Saros. But we're not going to know that quite yet. But if it starts to head in that direction and I'm Stan Bowman, that phone is ringing off the hook.
Well, he'd be a great veteran to get, even though he's long in the tooth. That would be a change for sure, and definitely an upgrade in experience. All right, fun one. Oilers, Jets, Leafs appear to be the class of the Canadian teams entering the season. Do you agree with that? And which of them has the best chance to win the Stanley Cup this year?
I do agree with that. The Jets losing Dylan Samberg this morning for 2 months is very tough. That trickle-down effect is going to be bigger than I think a lot of people think it is. And the fact that Connor Hellebuck left on a non-contact injury should be extremely concerning because the Jets are not a cup contender without him. I don't think you can say that like about many teams, but like the Jets, you're not going to be a cup contender without a Vezina caliber goaltender. And so I think that's meaningful for the Jets. The Leafs obviously are without Mitch Marner, although I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So I'm going to go with the Oilers. When you have the two best players in the league, or two of the top three, depending on what day you want to talk about Nathan MacKinnon, I think you kind of have to give the nod to the Oilers, that until somebody other than the Panthers, who have just lost their two best players, beats them in a playoff series, they have to be considered the contender. Right now, I think based on what we know about Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, like Florida might be in tough to make the playoffs. And if you're Edmonton, get in and continue to do what you do, because I think there's a pretty decent chance they're in the Cup final again this year if everyone's healthy.
Man, I still say Edmonton-Toronto final. I don't know if the country could survive, Rachel, but I want to see it.
We survived a very contentious election. I think we can survive that playoff series. Although I will say I will throw my Twitter account into a volcano for those 2 weeks.
Probably wise. All right, quickly, Sidney Crosby. Is it possible he gets traded this year?
Possible, yeah. I mean, I think there are people saying, oh, like Florida without Barkov, now they'll go get Malkin. I think you'll see Malkin traded before you see Crosby traded, and you will not see Crosby traded unless you see Malkin traded. The reality is it's Crosby's choice. If he asks to go, Kyle Dubas will absolutely honor that request. I'm just not sure that Sidney Crosby is going to want to do that.
All right, final question. In terms of standings points, the biggest increase in standings points, what team will surprise us most this coming season?
This is going to end up coming back to haunt me, I am sure. I'm going to say the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh.
Can't wait for this audio clip to come up in April.
Well, you're putting it out there. I will give you credit for that.
I have them projected for 88 points this year. That's not a playoff team, but it isn't the lottery either.
Wow. You know what? The great thing about that is that like you are going against a lot of years of history, but I can't say you're necessarily wrong because they do have talent. It's just they've had it before too.
That's the thing is like there's something in the water in Buffalo, and I don't know what's happening because the Pagulas own both the Bills and the Sabres, and the Bills are the most well-oiled machine in the NFL right now. So like maybe bring some of that over to the KeyBank Center and sprinkle it in. But I think Zach Benson is the guy I am watching in Buffalo this year. I think he had 28 points last year. He's playing on the top line this year. I think there is a distinct possibility we see him go from 28 points to like 65.
Beautiful. Rachel, congratulations on the marriage. We're looking forward to talking to you every Monday. Have a great day.
You as well. Looking forward to the hockey season.
There you go. Rachel Krychak. It's going to take a while to get used to, but same great information. And we're thrilled that she, found a Rangers fan who is a Yankees fan. And of course, the Yankees and Jays, I'm not going to say it's likely, but they could play a week from now in a baseball series. That's going to be pretty wild. So we also talked about the possibility. I keep mentioning it because I want to see it before I die. I want to see very badly Edmonton Oilers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Stanley Cup final. It could be like maybe we could have it along with a federal election and a crisis with the Canada Arm. Knowlton Nash Jr. is reading the national news every night. They bring back the Guess Who with Burton Cummings Jr. Sarah McLachlan does a tour to celebrate one of her albums 30 years ago. I'm just saying.
You're just looking at me funny. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you in May when people were like, ooh, what about a Toronto-Edmonton final? Hell has frozen over if that is the Stanley Cup final.
Man. But we had a Calgary-Montreal final.
Congratulations to Calgary and Montreal. Two less insufferable fan bases than the Edmonton Oilers and
excuse me, sir. I believe you have that incorrect. Montreal Canadian fans can be insufferable, and certainly Calgary Flames fans can be.
I know I can be insufferable at times, so I mean, like, I'll take that on the chin. That being said, I grew up around Oil fans.
Well,
and I see Leafs fans on TV every day.
Well, but is it the Leafs fans or the Leafs media?
Both.
I don't know. That's fair. All right. 12:55. Should we take a break now? Are we good for break?
Yeah, we're good to take a break.
Right. Have people seen your hair online? I never read the comments on YouTube. What are people saying on YouTube?
Nothing really.
Okay.
Zach and Podback will fix the top two lines. I said I think we have to I think Oil fans have to be prepared that Zach Hyman's going to need a little bit of time coming back from a wrist injury.
His hand, anything around there means you're not going to have the pace and the shot you had.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're I think everyone's saying that Zach Hyman will come back and everything will be fine. Has clearly never had a wrist injury in their life. I still can't do a push-up consistently because I fractured my left wrist when I was in the 9th grade.
Yeah, but it could just be that you're weak.
I'm not saying that's not true either.
All right. Jason Gregor on the way in hour number 2. We're going to talk football, CFL, NFL, college straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Time for an update with Sam the intern.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
I'm not
brought
wrong.
to you by Papa John's. Enjoy the taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. In the NFL tonight, 2 Monday night matchups with the Jets heading down to take on the Miami Dolphins, and the Bengals and Broncos go head-to-head in Denver. The Cleveland Browns have traded for offensive tackle Cam Robinson from the Texans to fill their need for an offensive lineman with DeJuan Jones out for injury. The Giants have confirmed that their star wide receiver Malik Neighbors will be out for the season with a torn ACL. In the CFL, the Stampeders have traded for Lorenzo Malden from the Red Blacks. Holden had 26 defensive tackles and 2 sacks through 14 games with Ottawa. In the NHL, the Flames and the Kraken hit the ice. In Seattle, the Hurricane go up against the Panthers. The Flyers head to Boston to take on the Bruins, and the Islanders and Rangers face off tonight as well. In the majors, the San Francisco Giants have fired their manager, Bob Melvin, after a disappointing season, and the Pirates have extended their manager, Don Kelly, after taking over as manager for Pittsburgh a quarter way through the season. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's the Lowdown with Lowetide, and we'll have on Jason Greger from the Jason Greger Show. And this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Yeah, can I get yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie, now at McDonald's.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night, with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Stop juggling lowest bid contractors, because at Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, one call does it all. From concrete supply to cribbing and pumping, we've got your project covered. Locally owned and operated, Wetaskiwin Ready Mix is proud to deliver on spec and on time every time, because we know quality concrete isn't cheap, and cheap concrete isn't quality. Send Wetaskiwin Ready Mix your blueprint. We'll handle the rest. Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, 780-352-4301.
September. Back to class and back to carting the kids around. Good news. Until the end of the month at Wolf GMC Buick, get GMC employee pricing on all remaining 2025 GMC Sierras, so you'll have loads of room. Plus, get 0% financing on Sierra light-duty crew cabs. If you're eyeing up an SUV, we have the completely redesigned GMC Terrain and our entire Buick family with incredible prices. And Costco members up to $1,200 additional off the price. Come see us, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Ken.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues on the entire lineup of 2025 Sierra trucks. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. Had this come in right at the end of the hour. Excuse me, he was terrible last year in Nashville. Rachel had mentioned UC Saros. Saros had a save percentage of .896 a year ago in 58 games for a real poor team. 906 the previous year, 919 the previous year, 918 the previous year, 927 the previous year. He's 30. I think if you get him out of there, you probably have a goaltender you could reasonably bet would give you better results, and he does have, lots of experience. Now, whenever we talk about a goaltender, And this is the key item, or one of the key items of the piece that I wrote this week or today for The Athletic about will the Oilers make a trade this week. Whenever you're looking at any goaltender, the first thing you need to do is to go to Puckpedia and look up salaries, because that's it. That's the bottom line on all of this. What's the cap hit for these players? Remember, Stuart Skinner's $2.6 million and Picker's like $1 million. So when you're looking at Saros, he's at 7.74. So you go, ordinarily, you'd go, okay, well, 7.74. Find a Oilers player with a similar number and then trade him. Okay, maybe they could trade Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Oh, wait a minute. No movement. Maybe they could trade Darnell. No, you can't do that either. So unless you're willing to, these are the guys making a lot of money who don't have a no movement or no trade. All right. Evan Bouchard. I mean, that's it. Like, so what you're saying is, all right, Stan Bowman, you go get a goaltender right now. And then you just wait for him to pull magic out of his hat. Now, I will say this, that I am surprised they haven't made a bet on a goaltender. They've got the same two guys, but I think it's, based on what we know from the locker room, Calvin Pickard is just really popular. He's a popular guy. It's like you. I mean, if at some point in time, you'll be crappy at your job.
Could be today.
But people like you. He's an aw shucks kid, brightens up the room.
He does the job.
Looks after the old guy. There's lots of things you do.
So are you the Stuart Skinner then? Because I don't know if that's the place you want to be.
No, I'm the let's see. I'm
Tommy
the
Stala?
Derek Ryan.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No,
Derek Ryan retired.
Yeah. Well, Derek Ryan could afford to. I'll say this, that I think that I think Rachel made a great point about keeping your powder dry. They got a new goaltending coach. I know people are mad. And whenever I wrote today, I wrote a simple little line in my blog. This is what I wrote about Stuart Skinner and his performance last night. Okay. You tell me how angry this is. Stuart Skinner stopped 23 of 25 shots at 5-on-5. That's a solid number in the metric I put it. I trust the most. You may rain down blows upon me in the comments section as needed. Like, he stopped 23 of 25. That's good.
Yes, that's good.
Right.
I hate when you only use 5x5 though.
I don't care.
I know.
I've
I know
done
you
the
don't.
work, and I believe that that's the best metric.
And I think it is. Don't get me wrong. The majority of the games played 5-on-5.
Right.
But in a situation where you're down a player or down two players, if it's a 5-on-3,
right,
you're going to want situations where your goalie can bail you out. Like if your goalie has like a 9-10 5v5 and a 740 on the penalty kill,
right,
you're going to go on the penalty kill during the game. You don't want your goalie to have a 740 because those goals count too. Guess what? Like 5v5 goals don't count more than 4v5.
Do you know the reason I do it?
Because the majority of the game is played there.
Level playing field. Because some teams take a lot of penalties, putting a lot of pressure on their goaltenders. Some do not.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams are good at penalty killing one year and bad the next. It's very random, even including the same goaltender.
It's totally fair.
Right. So I use 5-and-5, not to irritate you, although that is a bonus.
Does help.
I admit, irritating you is at least 70% of why I have this job.
It makes the show a little more fun.
Right. I mean, the more you want me to retire, the more I'm staying. You know what I mean?
No, I don't want you to go anywhere. My point to you is that I get where you're coming from. I see the logic behind all of it. And generally speaking, I do agree with it. But if you give up 3 goals on the penalty kill and none on 5v5 and you lose the game 3-2, guess what? You lose the game 3-2. Like those goals count too. Those goals count all the same.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely they do. And I don't mean to make them less important, but I do spend a lot of time preferring 5-on-5 because I think it's the level playing field. Now,
I agree with that.
I promised we were going to talk football, so let's do a little of that. We talked a little bit about the CFL, but let's expand it just a touch. I have a question for you. Do you feel that the balance of power is changing a little? Saskatchewan maybe down on the luck, and Winnipeg feels like it's rising a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Caleros back was huge. They beat Hamilton 40-3 this past week. By the way, the Elks got no help. BC beat Toronto.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah.
BC beat Toronto and Winnipeg smoked Hamilton there. It's going to be really tough. you are going to essentially need you're going to need BC and Winnipeg to go 0-3 the rest of the way, and you're going to need to go 3-0 if you're the Edmonton Elks. Now, BC and Winnipeg don't play each other. That's huge. There is also another scenario where Calgary could drop out significantly, essentially lose all their games or go 1-3 for their last 4, and then you win against Calgary, have a tie break.
Calgary teams have a tendency to do just that.
They have zinger. They have not looked. The Snaps haven't looked good recently. They've looked like they've taken a significant back step. Winnipeg did look better with Zach Caleros back. It's going to be really tough for the Elks. And the blunt reality is the Elks are probably going to miss it by like 2 games, 2 or 3 games. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the last 3 games here against Winnipeg, BC, Calgary. Maybe you go out there and you lose each of those games by 30 points. And everything we've talked about is completely moot. But you would expect they're probably going to end up missing the playoffs by 2 games, 3 games. And we look at that first Hamilton game where Keon dropped a touchdown. We look at the second Hamilton game where they obviously punt the ball on 3rd and 2 with 1:46 left. I get that that's it would have been a gutsy call if you go for it. But OJ Hilaire drops the ball in the end zone as well. Right. The Toronto game where you let a 3rd-string quarterback drive down the field on you. Like, these are all things that I assume we're going to look back and point to and be like, oh my goodness, we really gave the season away.
Yeah.
And
I think that if they started the way if the season started the way they're playing now, they'd make the playoffs.
I would agree. Yeah, like I think you could make the argument if Cody had been there since the beginning, they would have been a playoff team.
I can't say that because I was in favor all the line of Trey Ford. So.
Yeah, listen, I'm a Trey Ford guy. I always joke on Elks Nation, I'm the last Trey Ford guy on the podcast. I like Trey Ford. It is interesting to think about. Like, I think things are going in the right direction for the Elks. I think they have a great foundation. First of all, with Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, Mark Killam, and then with the roster they have. But it is funny to think that next year, like, we don't know what it's going to be with Trey. I think we're pretty confident he's not the answer. Cody is not extended past this season. Doesn't have a contract past this season, I should say, and has really, as good as he's been and led them to wins. Like, we were reviewing the tape of this past one. Like, his final stat line was 18 of 23 for 305 yards, no touchdowns. It should have been 18 for 23 for like 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, he underthrew some balls severely. My point being is, he doesn't have a contract past this season. It would be very interesting to me if this Elks team, with this great foundation we have, and we all think they're for sure going to be a playoff team next year, has an entirely new quarterback room. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think Trey's going to.
Who's a free agent?
Pardon?
Who is a free agent?
Cody's set to be a free agent.
Anybody else in the league?
I would have to go look. I would have to go look at the contract situations. And I don't think it'll be that way because Trey has the extension. I don't think he's going to get traded. I just don't think there are a lot of teams that are going to want him. So I think he'll be there. I think Cody probably will re-sign to stay here because I think this situation.
He's young enough to run for a few years.
Yeah. And this situation is his best situation to be a starting quarterback outside of maybe Ottawa, but he has some camaraderie now with the guys here. And he kind of has the added element if he took over the team and got them back to winning ways. Obviously not to the playoffs, maybe. I mean, the season's yet to be written, but he got them back to winning ways compared to what it looked like to start the season. And then, so I don't think it'll be an entirely new quarterback room, but it does raise an interesting question when you look at, you look at kind of each individual guy and how they stand.
I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the games that happened Sunday in the NFL. You kind of told me that Steelers-Vikings is kind of one of those games where there's sort of different shades of equal.
Yeah.
24-21 Steelers. You nailed it.
A little bit, yeah. The Steelers, you know what? They look okay.
Pittsburgh always does this.
Yeah, they look like they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
They really do.
Did you have Giants over Chargers?
I did not.
What the hell, man?
I did not. That's just, you know what that is? That's any given Sunday. That is any given Sunday in the NFL. The major storyline from that one, obviously Jackson Dart's first start. He has that 75-yard touchdown drive to kind of kick things off. But Malik Neighbor, like, what is with the turf at MetLife? How many people suffer season-ending Achilles or ACL injuries there? Like, it is really something the league needs to take a look at because it is a long list of stars. And this Giants team, what are they going to win 4 or 5 games this year? Like, that's probably best case scenario. But you don't want Malik Neighbors with a young quarterback missing a year's worth of reps. Like, that's a horrible spot to be. Shout out the Giants for getting the win. Like, it's the NFL. it's really tough to go winless, and everyone's playing for a paycheck. They get paid to play too. So yeah, good for them for getting the win. Chargers, I don't know. I think they'll probably still be like 10-7, 11-6, a playoff team, but.
Jaguars over the 49ers. That was a surprise.
Yeah, that was.
No, they're injured though.
They're really beat up. And Brock Purdy was back for this one. It wasn't Mac Jones. He had over 300 yards passing the ball. That one, the 49ers are really beat up. It was really funny. There was a time during the game where Ricky Pearsall couldn't go into the medical tent because Jawan Jennings was already in the medical tent. It might have been the other way around, but that's just kind of the story of the 49ers for the past however many years. Like, no matter how hurt you think they are, they're actually more hurt than that somehow.
Yeah.
And obviously the Jags go get that win. Clearly meant a lot to Liam Cohen. I don't know if you saw him talking to Robert Salah after the game, but yeah.
Bears are 2-2. What shaking there?
2-2. That's a great question. Because the Bears, this is what I think is going to happen with the Bears. They're going to be 2-2 or 3-2 or 4-2 and kind of give their fan base a little bit of hope. And then finish 5-13 because that's what always happens with the Bears.
That's fair.
Ashton Gentry exploded in this one, but yeah, the Bears obviously able to get that one done. Caleb looked okay. I thought he looked. His receivers. He doesn't always do the most to help his receivers, but there are times when his receivers don't help him, and you kind of think like, guys, like I know he's not lighting the world on fire as a second-year quarterback, but give him a touch more.
Do we know more about the Chiefs and Ravens now that the Chiefs beat the Ravens?
We know a lot about how bad that Ravens defense is, like shockingly bad. And I've thought about this because I have the Ravens as my fantasy defense. Last week, I lost by like 3.8 points, and the Ravens were good for -4. This week, they're good for -3. Week hasn't been written yet. We still have Monday Night Football to go. But I could conceivably lose 2 weeks of fantasy football because of this Ravens defense.
But that would be a choice you made.
Yeah, it would. No. But they're getting dropped after this Monday night game. They have a combined -7 points their last 2 weeks. And the Ravens, we really thought, we always think of Lamar as the guy, and he is. But we thought of the Ravens as having the reason we picked them
was the defense.
To be it's part of it, because even though they might not have some incredible wide receiver room, they obviously do have Derrick Henry, but like Lamar and Derrick will be able to do enough while the defense keeps the other team out of the end zone, because it's a good defense on paper, but it just hasn't been. And the Ravens are the Penn State of the NFL. All they do is just muck it up in the big games. No. And it's really the story of that team. And you can't move on from Lamar, obviously. And it's really tough to move on from a Super Bowl winning coach. But I just wonder at what point this iteration of the Ravens team with Jim Harbaugh isn't good enough and you go another direction.
All right. Today we got Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos, 4 of the storied and truly talented football teams that they could put out on a feature game.
Yeah. I mean, these 2 games are so bad. This is I said this like last Thursday.
Slop.
Yeah, but this is real slop. Like the Cardinals, Seahawks, that's a fun one. Maybe both teams can get into the playoffs. They're feeding us slop here. They are feeding us Jake Browning and Bonnick's a good quarterback, but they're feeding us Jake Browning and Justin Fields and Tua Tagovailoa and just bad football. It's going to be fun, but it's just bad football.
It wasn't slop on week 1 of the NFL, right? Like going into the season, we're like, oh yeah, Bengals, Broncos. Yeah, that's why they're in the feature slot tonight. Instead of starting at 5, they're at the 6:30 time.
But that's another thing. Like they should be able to flex Monday Night Football.
They should be able to flex Monday night and Thursday Night Football. I agree. Like maybe you get the London game today. You get a nice little like 3:00 in the afternoon game or something.
Do something like that. Do something like that. I don't know. Like it's football is always awesome. It's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Except if it's that Colts Broncos game from like 3 years ago or whatever that was, then it was actually bad.
Yeah.
But you're still going to sit there and watch.
Final question from Brad. I find with Trey Ford, he doesn't have enough power behind his ball. It looks like he shot put the ball. Do you think Ford has a problem with the release? Hands are smaller than average. What the problem might be?
I don't know what his hand dimensions are. That would be out there somewhere. With Trey, I don't know for him if it's power as much as it is just touch and timing. Like his touch and timing is always really, really poor. Cody's actually the one who struggles with power. Cody puts everything into that ball and can barely throw it 40 yards. Like he hucks it like a kid playing jackpot and it's always short. Cody's the one who has power issue. Trey, it's definitely an issue as well, but I always thought his was touch and timing more so.
All right. Okay, 117 on the way, Jason Krueger. And don't forget, coming up at 140, it's Declan MMA. And I think we'll slide some football in because Declan is part of the feature. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Down for Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues on the entire lineup of 2025 Sierra trucks. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. 121 this time tomorrow will be right at the beginning of Major League Baseball playoffs as the I'm not sure what the first one is. It Cleveland, Detroit, Boston, Cleveland, Detroit. Okay. That's going to be an interesting one. I think they're two interesting teams. I'll give Detroit the edge because of the starting pitching, but that's a close one. I also think the Yankees will win. I'm going to pick the Padres. What's the other one? Can't remember the other series. It doesn't matter. We'll do it all tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, we'll do it all Wednesday. But I have the Mariners and the Dodgers in the World Series, and I believe that the Seattle Mariners will win the World Series, which is pretty cool. We're just ahead of Jason Krueger. He's walking around with a sandwich talking. Oh, and they're taking a photograph. For live radio is what we are. You can't see this, but it's a beautiful moment. Declan Krueger, who's never taken a good photograph in his life, has just taken one. I will be talking to Jason Gregor in 2 Shakes of a Lamb's Tail here. I saw him moving a ladder, and I thought, this is job work he's doing, right? Do you know what's happening right now? Can you fill in the folks? Jason, do you care to share with the class what just happened there?
Yeah, we just had a delivery, buddy. Just unfortunate, sort of a
it's okay, not
second
to worry.
late. Yeah, we had.
What is it? Food?
That's Al's food. Just for I got one for you, Al.
Oh, beautiful! You're the man.
It's the
See?
new McVeggie burger from McDonald's.
Oh, right on.
So big sponsor of ours.
There's lots to talk about. And we're going to get to all of it. Why don't you start with? I just was blown away by just a beautiful story about your dad today. I read it in the Oilers Nation, and I've been to Senior Frogs in Cancun, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I don't remember any of it, but I remember I was there and I had a good time. But that's a beautiful piece, and it's about remembering your dad, and we should all do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's 25 years today. That bastard. No, I say that in a loving way. Left us unexpectedly. So, and kind of weird that my father-in-law, who he was born December 2nd. My dad was born December 3rd, basically 1 year apart. My dad was a 43.
Wow.
My father-in-law, Doug, was a 44. And both in December. My son's actually December 4th. So it's 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
I'm 5th.
Yeah. Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And so my son has both of his grandfathers as his middle name. So
cool.
William Douglas. And my father-in-law actually passed away earlier this month.
Yes.
He was 80. And, it's very different from a 56-year-old to an 80-year-old. Like, it's still very hard, and very different because my father-in-law had ultra healthy, like, dude, like I had to stay in shape because Doug was going to the gym like 2 hours a day up until this past July for, Monday to Friday. Like, he was very regimented.
Right.
Like, it was strict, didn't matter what anyone else wanted. He goes, these are my days. I go work out. Nothing changes. So don't bother me in the morning. I go to the gym. He made lots of really good friends there and, stayed in shape. He loved everything about it. And unfortunately he got, diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer in March of 2003. And it didn't really stop him. He took 1 round of chemo and did not like it, did not like how it made it feel. So he said, you know what, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And he elected to just, eat as healthy as he could, do everything else. And he researched and looked into MAID, which is the medical assistance in dying.
Yeah.
And so he got it. He qualified because he had stage 4.
Right.
And so he kept everything going until July, and that's when he had to stop working out. It was just kind of starting to slow down. And then, late August, he sat down with his kids and kind of said, hey, like, we got to make a plan here. And so, but he organized everything. Like he wrote his own obituary, which is, I never heard anybody doing that. I thought it was awesome. He was a real outdoors guy, and he had a cabin up north. And so he went up there, he took a selfie of himself, and that's the picture in his obituary.
Right.
And he did that this summer. It looks pretty damn good for, like, how many of us can take a proper selfie? And he did, and it looked awesome, and with his hat on. And so, there's lots of really good things about it. He got to spend lots of time with his wife and his 2 kids, and, we got to see him too. But he, on the day of it, when MAID came, and like, so much I learned about it. I didn't know a lot about MAID, and I'm a huge proponent of it. Growing up on the farm, Al, like, when animals were suffering, we put them out of their misery.
Sure.
And it was considered very compassionate, but we don't really do that with the human race. And so, to die with dignity when you're older and to go out on your choice, I think is very important. And that's what he wanted. He did not want to be in the hospital. And it was kind of a different one to write for me, because now it's, and it was hard, and I didn't include it in the article because I probably would have cried writing it and even thinking about it. But I remember my son came to me, and he's 11. And he never met my dad.
Right.
Unfortunately, my wife never met him either, because 25 years ago. And, but when after Grandpa died, he came home and he saw him, and I'm really trying to teach my son, it's okay to, it's a different generation where it's okay to show your emotions and talk about it. And that's all right. And he was just like, Dad, I don't have a grandpa anymore. And it was just like, ugh. So, that's a tough one to hear, because him and his grandpa were pretty close. And he's probably a little closer with his grandma, I think, because they cook a lot. But he played chess and checkers, and he really liked it. And I think Grandpa loved it too, more than anything. Just to hang out with their grandkids.
That's grandchild. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's always a tough day for sure. But I do always try. I get some great feedback, and I always, sadly, there's people that have it way worse. Like, I lost my dad. I was 27, and my sister was 21, and so she'd been married for literally a month. And so it was 5 days after her 21st birthday. So she should have been having a lot more joy at that time. So But sadly, man, like, I don't know if you've seen that Bill Burr comedy script, and it's called The Drop Dead Zone. And it's about men from 48 to 60.
Yeah.
Men just drop dead at a much higher rate than women. And they don't really know why. It's a lot of reasons. And, I've had a few friends whose boys are my son's age here in the last year and a half that have gone, and, really good guys. And then just, they didn't wake up.
Yeah.
And so I always try to tell guys, and guys don't talk about it lots, but you're in that drop dead zone. You gotta take care of yourself.
You bet.
Right. And because trust me, I can tell you, while that extra burger or whatever you're doing or not taking a walk, trust me, you will not miss the burger as much as your kids and your wife and everybody else will miss you. So, and guys need to talk about it, right? The drop dead zone's not a joke. And we probably need to talk about it a little bit more.
And I think also the stress and pressure and seeing somebody, like if you're having issues, just go talk to somebody. Mental health isn't like something you ignore, right? And part of that is like sometimes we get overwhelmed. I think a lot of guys and women are just overwhelmed by the moment, right?
Guys don't really, like, you think about it, we love getting together with guys because a lot of times we don't have to talk about anything. Like, we literally talk about nothing sometimes. You watch the game, hey, great, and then you go over, it's like, God, that was fun. And so Warren Farrell in the book, The Boy Crisis, which I always like to tell people to read, but he talked about getting together with your guy friends. And you get to a point where you say, okay, you know what? We talk, but then there's 20 minutes at the end. And now it's air your bleep, right? And so it takes someone to be like, you know what? Hey, I'm having a tough time with this. Maybe I'm worried about this. We're stressed in my marriage. And just sometimes talking about it. Now, you might only have to do it with 2 or 3 friends because you have a circle of trust, and that's fine. But he just talked about how mentally that helps guys. And ever since reading that, I was like, you know what? Like, I got some of my best buddies I've had for life. And we will have the odd talk, but probably not as often as you should. Like, yeah, how are the kids? But rarely it's like, how are you? Right? Like, how's that? How the kids doing? How's your wife? Never like, how are you doing? Right? Like, it's rarely a thing that guys will ask each other. And truly, like, don't let, I'm good. No. Like, okay, what's good about you? Right? So we probably need to do that.
What do you worry about? What do you worry about when the last thing you think of before you go to sleep? I mean, a massive weekend. Ryder Cup. We had the rugby. We had the Jays. We had the Elks, for God's sake. I mean, that was a great football game. I said to Declan, they play like that at the start of if this was the start of the season, they'd make the playoffs. They really played well.
Oh, well, they should. You think about those 2 blown losses in Toronto and Hamilton, right? Like, even earlier in the year against Hamilton, like Edmonton's being competitive. They're still, I still think the play calling offensively is a little too cautionary for me. But, you got Rankin, who might be the best offensive player in the league right now.
Yeah.
He's just so dynamic. He makes guys miss. Like, he makes something out of nothing numerous times. Like, he's not Barry Sanders, but he made a few plays in that game that reminded me when Barry Sanders would have nothing. Looks like it's a loss behind this line of scrimmage, and he turns it into a 16-yard gain. So, you know what? The defense has played really well here as of late. They almost shut him out in the first half, and that's spectacular.
Turning over balls, they were doing it all.
So big win for Edmonton. Obviously, unfortunately for them, Winnipeg and BC both won, but now you have a bye week. I think they could get Robbie Smith back, which would help them with some different line roster juggling after the bye. And then, hey, it's a must-win game again against Winnipeg, and a great crowd, which is nice to see. And hopefully the crowds keep coming back. It was nice of them to win in honor of Larry Thompson, of course, and obviously a very tough time for the Thompson family and Deb and his kids and everybody. So our condolences to them and the organization. I think it was another like meaningful win. And I think the Elks haven't had a lot of those in a long time. And the one against Calgary I thought was good. This one's at home. Like, those 2 road losses stunk, no question, but they weren't at home. And I just think this team's starting to win some games at home.
Yeah, which is huge.
People mentally, when you walk out of the stadium after a win, you just feel better. It's a lot easier to convince yourself to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're going to have a good time, and they're watching great football, and some stars are emerging on both sides of the ball, which is great. Got to talk Jays. I mean, they won. Yankees are interesting to me. I honestly think it's going to be Yankees Jays a week from now.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It should be a very good series. Now, the challenge of that series is that the Yankees hit a lot of home runs and the Jays pitchers give up a lot of home runs. That's their weakness. They got a lot of strengths in areas, but man, when they make a mistake, it seems like it ends up in the bleachers. So that'll be a challenge if they get there. for sure. Well, not Toronto. I mean the Yankees. So it starts on Saturday. It'll be a fun week of baseball, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to watch the games. Those first 4 series. I'm very intrigued to watch. I love playoffs. I love playoffs in any sport, man. Like it's the perfect time.
Oh man,
it's the week before, and then the NHL starts next week. Oh, awesome! Now I got baseball playoffs, and I got the NBA, you got the NHL, you got NFL, you got CFL. Like it's unreal. But the Jays, like Kirk on Sunday, they needed to win. They dominated. They got it.
Yeah.
Big day for him. Like he was in a big slump, and then he hit that home run on Saturday. Another one, a few on Sunday. And now if they could get Vladdy to hit the ball out of the infield, that's got to be the next step. Because Al, he looks complete. I think he has 3 infield hits lately. Like I don't think he's hit a ball out of the infield.
It's all in. That's the thing about baseball. It's between the ears.
Oh, for sure.
Like he's such a magnificent hitter, and yet he's an easy out right now.
Yeah.
Think we'll see some cuts here in the next couple of days from the Oilers. They got some guys hanging out that they might as well send down. They're not going to make the team.
Well, I think they got 17 forwards around, and so Jones is still a little nicked up. I'm not sure. So I think it's more. You got 2 preseason games left. Are you going to have all your guys play both of them? Probably not. So you probably want to have a few guys around. Like I look at, there's some guys that I think Hudson will go down, Szymanski will go down. Sure, but if they want to play one more game in Seattle, and that means you're going to rest Nugent Hopkins or Draisaitl and McDavid, fine. Like I don't think Draisaitl and McDavid are going to play Wednesday. I could be wrong. I think they'd probably play the Friday game for sure. But the Oilers, there's some good competition going on. I think Howard might make the team to start because Hyman's not here, and you'll see like he's gotten better as camp's gone on.
He's getting chances.
He skates better than some of the scouts that I had heard, at least for me anyway. Now it is preseason, so I always caution myself because I always question like the guys have played well, but who have they played against? That's always to me the main question.
Vancouver did not send a good roster.
Not a great roster, no. So it's hard to, the Jets here a few nights ago. So now these next 2 games are on the road. Usually the home team plays a better roster. So you'd think that you're going to get more of, 85% maybe of the Kraken roster and maybe 95 of the Canucks on Friday, maybe 100%. We'll see. So that's usually a better barometer and gauge of where guys are at. But they've got some guys like who have looked better. But again, Phillips looked better than Lazar, but Curtis Lazar is a veteran.
Yeah.
Right. So he's kind of like, maybe not that they don't care, but the games don't matter as much in the preseason. Whether you like it or not as a fan, that's just the truth.
And with Lazar, people have to keep in mind, you look at the numbers last year, he was hurt. Like if you go back 2 years, he has more ability than maybe the numbers suggest from a year ago.
Yeah, and he's a veteran player, responsible, all those sorts of things. But I like a lot of stuff about Noah Philp, but you need to see it in the you can't criticize the player because he can only perform against who he plays against. It's not his fault. But I know, having talked to GMs and scouts over the last 2 decades about this, it comes down to, he's playing well, but who do you play against? And whether it's fair or not, that's just the truth. Now, next year, Al, might be a lot easier because there's only 4 preseason games. You would probably you don't have to waste preseason rosters and say, well, geez, in game 8 here, the first game here, we got to get some guys just in for the sake of getting in, right?
Yeah.
So
I've liked Regula's game. That's a guy who, as the year goes along, he could be a recall option, right? Like, I mean, he could play.
I think so. I like him. And for a guy who hasn't played in 18 months, he's looked all right. There's always the slight concern because you never know. I don't know who's going to get claimed on waivers. I never do. Like, I was still surprised Rafael Laval got claimed on waivers, to be honest.
And then claimed back and then claimed back.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So who really knows if, everybody's going to speculate. And every fan base and some even media think, hey, this guy's going to get claimed for sure. I can't say for sure if Philp will get claimed or Regula will get claimed, because to get claimed, that means you got to stay on that team's active roster for a while.
Yeah. And but it's a fun time of year for fans for sure. Do you see any, could you, if you're in Vegas and we have to bet on a player making the roster opening night that would be a surprise, is there anybody that you feel has sort of wiggled their way to maybe a surprise roster spot, or has it gone pretty much according to Hoyle?
Good question. I guess Regula would qualify as a surprise. Would Howard qualify as a surprise for you?
Not well, yeah, because he's played better than I thought he would.
So yeah. I think Howard would be the guy, because Savoy's not a surprise to me. Tomasik's not a surprise to me if he makes it. No. So those are the only 2 I can think of that and even Philp. I don't know if if I have Philp as, well, I guess maybe Philp would probably still be a little bit of a surprise when I
Yeah,
just look
'cause
at the
he's played
numbers,
well.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and then so it's going to come down to Al. There's two things to look at because someone at the NHL didn't even give me the answer yet. So they're still trying to figure it out. So the rule now that if you send somebody to the minors, they got to play a game before you can recall them.
Right.
But the AHL is not playing games. So what happens? Because teams would like to. So let's say, because you don't want to start the season in LTIR.
No.
So let's say the Oilers have Zach Hyman on the 23-man roster for one day. Then the next day they move him to LTIR, right?
Oh, then he'd have to.
No, he's on LTIR. But in
Right,
the meantime, you would send Tomasic, doesn't require waivers, and he also doesn't have bonuses. So keep that in mind. You couldn't really do it with Howard because then if you recalled him the next day, his bonuses weren't on there on day one. So then when you recall him, the bonuses wouldn't be part of it. They'd actually count higher against the cap, which is what you don't want.
Right.
So you have to look and say, okay, so could we, in theory, send Tomasic down next Tuesday or Monday, the deadline, but recall him Tuesday but he hasn't played an NHL game. So I would assume the answer is yes.
Yes.
Because the regular season of the AHL hasn't started. But
yeah, you never know.
you never know with the league. Like what is that rule? So that's something I still couldn't get an answer with yet. And I talked to two different people. And actually, some teams actually have meetings with the NHL this week with a lot of questions about certain CBA stuff because it's not 100. What you've seen on public isn't 100% accurate is all I was told. They're still trying to figure some things out.
That's the funny thing about the NHL. They do, it's like the back of a napkin league.
A little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they don't, like you should outline every possible scenario.
Yes.
This is the, okay. So yeah, you have to go down in the American League, except before the American League starts. Because that would be foolish to send a guy down when they don't even have preseason games for 6 or 7 days. Like,
Gary's got a lot of New York lawyers. Surely to God, he can,
Yeah. Like it's common sense, but
yeah, you
sometimes
never
common
know.
sense isn't as common as we'd like.
There you go. What's coming up on the show?
Well, got a busy show today. Well, Kevin Woodley, of course, will be by. We're going to talk some skating. We're getting a lot of hockey coaches, lots of hockey coaches specific. Vanessa Hettinger's going to come by, talk a little bit about just like she's been a skating coach for a long, long time. I always think it's a good little tip or hint for some parents and some coaches on maybe some things to work on in practice for young kids and skating. Also, Jamie Cartmel, who of course is Senior Director of Communications for the Edmonton Oilers, a PR guy. He's won the Dick Dillman Award. I think they're like a little dynasty in that regard. I think it's like 3 of the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. But I like to get different people on in the sporting world to talk about their job because there's lots of people listening right now who are fans. Like we've seen some guys, if you love analytics and you're really good at it, maybe you can get hired, by a team there, right? We see Parkaddy. We've seen other people do that. There's obviously the coaching side. There's then the playing side. And the truth of the matter is 99.99% of people can't play good enough to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
But then you look at other factors and how you can get involved with the team. We've talked to trainers in this. And so today I'm going to talk to Jamie. We've talked to the president. So we'll talk to Jamie about that. Spec will be by. And obviously we'll talk some Elks, some Jays, and Ryder Cup out. Things maybe you shouldn't do in the crowd. So lots of go.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right. Jason's coming up at 2:00 today. On the way, it's Declinations. We'll do MMA, but so much football. I think we'll get into that as well. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Lowetide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
September, back to class and back to carting the kids around. Good news. Until the end of the month at Wolf GMC Buick, get GMC employee pricing on all remaining 2025 GMC Sierras, so you'll have loads of room. Plus, get 0% financing on Sierra light-duty crew cabs. If you're eyeing up an SUV, we have the completely redesigned GMC Terrain and our entire Buick family with incredible prices. And Costco members up to $1,200 additional off the price. Come see us, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Yeah, can I get a... yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie. Now at McDonald's.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Stop juggling lowest bid contractors, because at Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix, one call does it all. From concrete supply to cribbing and pumping, we've got your project covered. Locally owned and operated, Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix is proud to deliver on spec and on time every time, because we know quality concrete isn't cheap, and cheap concrete isn't quality. Send Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix your blueprint. We'll handle the rest. Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix, 780-352-4301.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues at wolfgmcbuick.com at 1:43. Time for Declinations, presented by Elks Nation. 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth double E football coverage on planet Earth, on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. Number one among humans, many different animals like dogs and cats.
They all love it. Cougars,
right? Well,
scariest animal ever when they're in residential areas.
I don't know. The
great white shark.
The one that I worry about is the hyena.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm a zebra in a hyena world.
The cat dog hybrid. It is pretty spooky.
I'm wearing a nice suit. I'm a zebra, and then all of a sudden there's 16 hyenas.
Yep.
Kind of like you guys.
I was gonna say, like, is this what we in the biz call a metaphor for what goes on around here?
Only radio uses metaphors.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys a little something about metaphors.
Okay, so where are we going there, bub?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to talk a little bit of MMA. There, big pay-per-view coming up this weekend, UFC 320, and this past weekend we had UFC Perth, Carlos Ulberg, Dom Reyes. Carlos Ulberg wins the fight via knockout in the first round, and this is kind of reminiscent of what Dom Reyes' career was post John Jones' loss. He loses the light heavyweight title, his lone light heavyweight title bid, back February 2020, then goes on to be knocked out brutally 3 times. Ends up taking about 20 months off or so, like almost 2 years off, comes back, puts together a three fight win streak with 3 knockout victories. And this was his chance to really, he already had reinvented his career to a degree, but this was his chance to put himself in title contention. And this was his chance to beat off a guy in Carlos Ulberg who was on an 8-fight win streak, only his 1 loss in the UFC in his UFC debut. And like I said, put his name back in the title mix. And instead of that, we see the Dom Reyes we had seen post John Jones loss, where he gets
He's
knocked
the only
out.
person to win an arm wrestling contest.
What was that?
That's Sam.
Oh my goodness!
He got a haircut and he's lost his power.
That scared
It was a
me.
misclick. It was a misclick.
No, that doesn't mean anything, Sam. You're still in hell.
Yeah, but just like I was saying about Dom Reyes, and this result was much more reminiscent of what we had kind of come to think his career was. And he did a great job knocking off Dustin Jacoby and Anthony Smith and Nikita Krylov. And now he fails in the first round against Carlos Ulberg, a guy who is really highly touted and is probably going to fight for the title. The winner of this week's pay-per-view is going to be for the light heavyweight title. I think Carlos Ulberg probably gets the next shot. And you look back at Dom Reyes' opponents there and you think, maybe they weren't that great. Maybe his career wasn't as revived as we thought it was. But like I said, all respect to Carlos Ulberg. He went out there, did what he had to do, knocked out a guy in the first round, and I think is probably off the back of this 9-fight win streak going to fight for a title next. So congrats to him. The UFC that we have this weekend, great card, Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship in a rematch. Alex Pereira really got, like, he is an incredibly credentialed kickboxer. For anyone who doesn't know him, has incredible knockout power in his hands. His nickname is Poatan, which means hands of stone. And he was knocking everybody out, starching dudes, goes out there and really gets out kickboxed by Magomed Ankalaev, who I think a lot of people think of as a Dagestani wrestler. Now, he's not as much. He certainly has that in his arsenal and in his bag, but he really is kind of more a traditional stand-up fighter than you might expect from someone from that region. So Magomed Ankalaev wins that fight. They're rematching this weekend. I like Magomed Ankalaev to probably win the rematch. Alex Pereira is so dangerous. But I also feel like he puts himself in a lot of positions where he does get hit and get tagged. And wins we've had, like the first year at Prochazka win, he was getting hit. Obviously, he was losing the first Izzy fight until he got the knockout. He got knocked out in the second Izzy fight. Even Jan Blachowicz, although Jan found the most success wrestling in that fight, but he was still able to land on Alex Pereira. So he's a guy, Khalil Roundtree, his last title defense before Magomed Ankalaev. We saw him getting touched up and getting rocked a little bit and wobbled and losing some rounds. So he is a guy who has a tendency to get touched. And I just think Magomed Ankalaev, he might not be the most exciting fighter in the world, even though I think he's pretty exciting, but he's a smart fighter. And so I think he'll be able to kind of point his way to another victory. And the other thing with Alex Pereira is he was fast-tracked to being a superstar in the UFC, became a 2-division champion incredibly quickly in terms of fights. And he's a little bit older because he came to the sport late because he was kickboxing, and like he's rich. Like, it's harder to do your road work when you're waking up in silk sheets. That is a very real thing.
Well, you'd know that.
Marvin Hagler knew it. I think that quote's generally attributed to him, but it's a reality. And I think that's kind of where Alex Pereira is at. So I like Magomed Ankalaev in that one. The co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen is a staple of the bantamweight top 5. Doesn't really have any elite wins. He's kind of a guy who's lost to all the good fighters he's faced. And I don't say that disparagingly. Like, he's put together a good career. He's 18-5 overall. He's beaten some really good guys. But you look at his losses, Aljo, TJ Dillashaw, Peter Yan, Umar Nurmagomedov. That is the upper echelon. And every time he's fought one of those guys in that ilk, he's lost.
He's not there.
He's 1-1 in his last 2, and his loss wasn't that long ago to a guy Merab beat in a title defense in Umar Nurmagomedov. So I like Merab to win this one pretty easily. This is also one where styles really make fights. Corey's a stand-up guy. Merab is a guy who is going to take you to the ground and just maul you and just wear on you. He has the most takedowns landed in UFC history. He has cardio like we've never seen before in the sport. Truly, I think he's in the contention for the best bantamweight ever, and I like him to defend his title. With respect to Corey, who's always dangerous, probably with relative ease in this one. Then the feature bout, Yuri Prochazka, Khalil Roundtree. This is just a fight where if you want to see two guys stand and bang and slug it out, this is the fight for you.
Love it. That's it?
Yeah.
I have to say that you do a thorough job in very short amounts of time.
Well, I try and get it all in there. I love talking about it. Although I will say the UFC, like I still love the UFC. I love mixed martial arts. I love watching the events. The UFC, I just think in terms of quality of cards in the past, however many years it's been now, probably like 4 or 5, it's gone down to the point where it has subtracted my enjoyment from the sport in a way that I did.
You're noticing it fail.
Yeah, in a way that I did never think it really would. And I still love the sport, and I still love getting up for a UFC pay-per-view and making an event with friends. I still love watching as many fights as I can. I still love the beauty of combining boxing with Muay Thai, with jiu-jitsu, with wrestling. I think it's a great sport. I still love it. But there's no question the UFC just gives us stuff because, like, it's what I talked about with the NFL. They just feed us things we know we're going to watch, and they kind of don't care in a lot of regards to the product they put out now, like I said, in the last 4 or 5 years. So it's definitely taken away from my investment in it to a degree.
Right. That happened to me when the CFL expanded. Yeah. I just didn't like the league for a year. It took a while. Sam, do you have any commercials you want to play at random now?
No, we're good.
Anything you want to blurt out? You've got commercial Tourette's, I think.
I like that one.
Well, I mean, I think do you think his hair has, like, getting cut has impacted him performance wise?
No, I think it's lended itself to his performance, if anything.
Yeah. I was going to come in here and hammer him, but then I heard the morning show do it. And I thought, man,
you got a haircut. It looks good.
Well, yeah.
He's got a great head of hair, man.
Yeah. I got accused of getting another haircut from Josh. I don't know why he did that, but he did.
Yeah, you didn't though.
No. I combed it. That probably threw him off.
You own a comb?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I own a comb and a brush.
It shows.
Hair dryer.
Wow.
I have some of that goop too. Put it in. It's white. What do you call it? What do you call it?
Got to be glued?
No, it's what do you call the hair stuff
Hair
you
gel?
put in? Not gel, but
paste?
Foamy stuff.
Mousse.
Maybe that's it. Mousse. All right.
I like got to be.
I'm not up on the latest hair or anything, stuff.
You're pretty good with keeping up to date with the trends.
No, I'm not.
You don't seem to me to be much of a keeping up with the Joneses kind of guy.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
People, they're the worst. Although I did get a garbage bin, which is really like stepping out for me.
Tide, you remind me of Steve Buscemi in that whatever show that was, but he goes around saying, "What's up, my fellow kids?" He's walking around.
That's a great one. I love with the skateboard.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
You're even wearing a very similar shirt to him.
Stop it. It's too perfect. that is a great scene. That really is.
What's that from?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Steve Buscemi, what an actor.
It might
Man,
be
he's been in
SNL.
so many good ones. He was in Fargo, right? He was perfect in Fargo.
Yeah, he was in Fargo.
You
He's
should
also
see the other
Mr.
guy.
Pink in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh,
The Sopranos as well. He's there.
Steve Buscemi was in The Sopranos.
I believe so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You know what, Sam? I swear to you, like they're probably right. They really have these encyclopedic memories about stuff that just doesn't matter.
Oh, he was in The Sopranos. He was
Okay, well,
Tony
you're wrong.
Blundetto.
Aha! I'm with
He
Sam.
was nominated for an Emmy.
Sam's always
Well,
right.
He knew.
He probably died. That's why we forgot about him.
By the way, that scene was from 30 Rock.
30
Oh, well, God. 30 Rock was so good. You guys don't remember that show, but it was good.
My
Never
dad
got
just
into it.
rewatched it.
Oh, man. It's really funny.
Is the music playing?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard it in my headphones.
You're just wishing the show to be over.
No,
because
I thought
Lowetide is
He's
done.
wishing for you to retire, Al.
Listen,
No, I thought I heard it.
I don't need a daily reminder that you're all waiting for me to, you know.
I'm not waiting. I'm good back here for a little bit. Declan is waiting.
Yeah,
I'm chilling. I got it pretty good right now.
you do actually.
With
No.
Sam and Josh back there, I'll be doing a lot less.
Whole lot of nothing.
Now the music's playing.
He doesn't
There
play
we
it
go.
loud
Yeah.
enough. I'm an old person. You got to play it loud.
Minus
well,
10.
no, I was more trying to psych out Declan.
Oh,
On
okay.
that one.
All right.
It worked.
It's like, you know, like if you go like to Walmart, they know that elderly people are there. You say, attention shoppers, you got to get it out there, you know? All right. Well, I believe I'm done for the day. Apparently we're back Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy your afternoon. Jason Krueger, straight ahead.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Play Alberta. Play Alberta has an all-new app. Download it and get boosted odds on all the big games, plus play casino games. Grab lottery tickets and try some quick and easy instant games all on your phone. PlayAlberta.ca. In the NFL today, 2 Monday night matchups with the Jets heading on down to Miami to take on the Dolphins, and the Bengals and Broncos go head-to-head in Denver. The Ravens have confirmed that defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike is out for the season with a neck injury. The Giants have confirmed that their star wide receiver Malik Neighbors will also be out for the season with a torn ACL. In the CFL, the Calgary Stampeders have traded for Lorenzo Malden from the Red Blacks. Malden had 26 defensive tackles and 2 sacks in 14 games with Ottawa. In the NHL, the Flames and the Kraken hit the ice in Seattle. The Hurricanes going up against the Panthers in Florida. The Flyers head to Boston to take on the Bruins, and the Islanders and Rangers face off tonight as well. In the majors, the San Francisco Giants have fired their manager, Bob Melvin, after a disappointing season, and the Pirates have extended their manager, Don Kelly, after taking over as manager for Pittsburgh a quarter way through the season. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's the Jason Krueger Show here on Sports 1440, and this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports